One of the things I've noticed is that when people are just getting started in Six Sigma and statistical process control, they're really confused. And they're always going, well, what chart should I choose? And in the QI macros, my goal about 6 years ago was I realized since I do what nobody else does, which is allow you to select your data first, I can help you choose the right chart. And so I build all the knowledge and wisdom into the QI macros to help you do the right thing. So the idea here is that you should just be able to select my data and let the QI macros choose the right chart or statistic or whatever. Other companies, they have a forest of decision trees. They expect you to make a bunch of decisions before they actually help you do anything. And then you have to fill in all these blanks and decisions and so on. And so what I want you to realize is that other SPC software makes you think a lot, make a lot of decisions about, am I choosing the right tool? Then I have to pick my data, then I have to choose all these options, and then, and only then, will they perform the calculations and draw the chart or do the statistics. In the QI macros, you just select your data with the mouse, and then the QI macros wizards will help you choose the right chart or tool, perform all the calculations, and draw the chart or come up with the statistic. So let's look at an example. And so I'm going to go to File and Open. We go to My Documents. You'll find there's always a QI macros test data out here. And I'm going to use the box and whisker data just as an example. So here's some data where we have various cavities, cavity 1, 2, 3, and 4, and various measurements, top, middle, and bottom, of these things that are producing like a bottle or something like that. And so what we want to do is select that data. Now, a lot of people tell me, Jay, I don't know what chart to choose. Well, if you're not sure, we have all these wizards up here. We have a chart wizard, a control chart wizard, a pivot table wizard, and a stat wizard. If you don't know what to choose, choose the chart wizard. It'll look at your data and say, what can I do with that data? And the first thing it does is descriptive statistics to see if your data is normal. And then, based on what it sees there, it'll come up and try and draw all the charts that it can think of that make sense for that bit of data. I'm going to scroll over here a bit. So first it does descriptive statistics. So it'll show a histogram. It'll come up and calculate a p-value, which tells you your data is actually normally distributed. Gives you a blocks plot and confidence intervals and a normal probability plot, which says your data is normal. Then it'll do a box and whisker plot of by top, middle, and bottom, and so we can see some variability here. And then it'll do it by cavity. And so cavity 1 is higher and cavity 2 is lower. And so you can see that not all of our cavities produce a consistent chart. And then it'll do the control charts. Here's our X chart and our R chart. And so the chart wizard will go out and say, gee, what would Jay do? And out will come some answers. Now we could also take this data over here, which comes from Duran. We could click on Control Chart Wizard. And the Control Chart Wizard will go out and say, what kind of chart should I choose? And in this case, it'll do an X bar R chart. Because we have multiple columns of decimal data, so that's either an X bar R or an X bar S chart. And so here's all of our chart, and you can see we have some out of control points over here. And so it looks like our process changed, so if we really wanted to, we could come in and change that and say, I want to show a process change right there. And it'll go reconfigure the limits. And we could come back here and reanalyze the control chart rules and make sure everything's on target. And so here you can see our process actually shifted at this latter point. So I hope that starts to give you some ideas. Now there's other things we're going to talk about. There's more wizards out here, but I have a whole special section about the pivot table wizard and the stat wizard. But I'll run the stat wizard just to see if those cavities are slightly different. And so again, it'll do descriptive statistics to see if your data is normal. And then it'll say, oh, you must need to do a Levine's test because you have multiple columns, and that you also could do an ANOVA, single factor analysis. And then it'll come in and prompt you and tell you that your data is normal, The variances are the same in these across these four cavities, but the means of those four cavities are actually different. And that's one of the things that's unique about the QI macros is instead of just giving you a p-value, we tell you what you should know about this. I have found that most people worry about getting it right, and that really stops them from getting it done. And the QI macros wizards will help you get it done right. To learn more about the QI macros for Excel, go to our website, qimacros.com.